Good afternoon. Today is Unconditional Love 6. The Cathars and Reincarnation. I suppose the subtitle could be The Massacre of Montsegur. Many know of this horrific event, a prime example of man's inhumanity to man, man's lack of religious tolerance and lack of respect for human life. What actually happened was that 190 Cathar perfecti, Cathar clergy and 20 to 25 others were herded into a stockade at the base of Montsegur and burned to death. That in essence is the story. But leading up to this was the fact that Catharism was taking over Christianity, and at that time there was only the Catholic Church, and Pope Innocent III, which I've mentioned before, stated that 80% of his monks, clergy, nuns were either Cathars or Cathar sympathizers, and he could see his church not exploding but imploding. So he really had to do something about it. So he organized the Inquisition, which eventually did stamp out Catharism. But he first created the Albigensian Crusade, and he had the monks, not the monks, but the knights of the north come down to invade the area of Langueduoc, which had a different language, different culture. But the lords and the aristocracy of that area were either Cathars or sympathetic to the Cathar cause. And eventually, when they became victorious, the northern lords, it became a land grab, and eventually that whole area became part of what we now know as France. The aristocracy of the Languedoc, they put up a fight. The major battle in which King Peter from Aragon came over to assist them, because they were subject to him, and they were opposed by Simon de Montfort, who led the Northern Lights, the Northern Lords. But unfortunately, King Peter, he rushed into battle, not even with correct armour, and he was killed. And when he was killed, the Spanish lost heart, and that was basically, it was a rout after that. And Simon de Montfort was victor. He was a superb tactician, and he became victorious. And from that time onwards, it was only a matter of time before Catharism was going to be eliminated from that area. So the sole repository was Montsegur. It was a mountain, and on its top it had a citadel, and it became the centre for Catharism. Slowly, the northern lords, they surrounded the mountain, and there was a siege lasting 10 months. It must have been quite horrendous, because there must have been at least 400 people, men, women and children, soldiers, mercenaries, Cathars, Cathar perfecti, their relatives, family, all herded in on the top, and especially as it was becoming surrounded. So a number of things happened. Eventually they had some Navarrese or Basque mercenaries, and they managed to claim a foothold getting towards the top, the Pog, and on that foothold was large enough that they could set up a mangonel which could catapult large rocks into the citadel. And slowly but surely they were battering down the citadel. So the Cathars realised it was a matter of time before they had to capitulate. So this is where the treasure of Montsegur came in, because they had obviously precious documents, literature, money. They also said that they had a cup, a grail. Some say the Holy Grail. But these things had to be secured, and because they knew their cause was lost as far as Montsegur was concerned. So two perfecti, one was Matthias, the other was Pierre Bonnet. They took the treasure down a very, very steep section of Montsegur called the Portil, and they secured the treasure. Matthias came back. He managed to bring some crossbowmen up with him, and he went down again and took down more stuff on a second occasion. And this time he tried to get mercenaries to break through the lines to assist them, but they couldn't break through, so Matthias came up without the reinforcements, and it was now Montsegur, without those mercenaries to assist him, was lost. They capitulated, and they asked for 2 weeks before the authorities could take them into custody. During that 2 weeks, the northern lords and the Catholic monks and the clergy that was with them, they allowed safe passage, which was to all the mercenaries, men-at-arms, no matter who they were. They could leave Montsegur, and with their arms. So all that were remaining were the Cathar clergy, the perfecti, and those sympathisers. Those who were remaining were going to be burnt. They knew that. On the 16th of March 1244, the people were herded down from Montsegur, down the track, in bare feet. When they got to this open space down below, they were pushed and herded by the police, and on that plain below they had built this large stockade and filled it with tinder and logs, and the Cathars were herded into this particular palisade, this stockade, and it was set alight. And there was the lords, the men-at-arms, the victors, and their clergy with their crucifix, Deus Vult, God wills it, God wills it, and the flames leapt high. Now, it was somewhat of an anticlimax for these people, because they expected to hear screams and screams of agony, but not a scream was heard. By the men, women, and there were children as well, not a scream was heard. There was certainly a smell of roasting flesh, but there was no screams, and this happened on other occasions as well. This is commented, and this is there by the enemies of the Cathars who actually record this. From this, it took the heart and soul out of Catharism. But you cannot kill an idea that has come. And today there is a resurgence of Catharism, but today it's going to be a Catharism for a different age. It's a universal Catharism. That was the massacre of Montsegur. Bye for now.